Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for being live. Today is the first part of the webinar series for the Return to Self-Coaching program. So thank you again for showing up live or listening to the recording. Really appreciate it. Let's just do a quick meditation to get grounded and get started. So go and close your eyes. Just start to hear your breathing. Take a long breath in. Take a slow breath out. Take a deep breath in and take a fluid breath out. Feel every inhale move into the exhale. For the next few moments, see if you can just hear your breathing. And for the next few moments, see if you can make every inhale longer and make every exhale slower. And now for the last bunch of breaths, see if you can create a pause at the end of the inhale and a pause at the end of the exhale. So you inhale and hold your breath for a second, and exhale and hold your breath for a second, and just do that for a few moments. And really beginning to notice what's happening. In a little bit, we'll do a formal meditation, connect to your divine support team. But if you've done it before or never have, just imagine all your guides and angels walking into the room. We'll do it more formally in a little bit. Don't worry. I'll let them come in and breathe. After your last few breaths, when you're ready, start to bring your attention back into the room, back into this moment. Feel your fingers. You can scrunch them, stretch your arms if you wish, and gently open your eyes. Welcome, guys. It's so great to see everybody. Thank you again for showing up live. It means the world to me. It's a bit cloudy here in Vancouver now, so it's a bit weird. I don't know if anyone else feels it, but it's just a bit weird. So welcome, guys. Thank you again. So how I've set this up, we're going to be together for the next 3 Mondays at the same time, 5 o'clock to 6 o'clock. We'll probably be able to finish it in an hour. I usually teach for about half an hour, 40 minutes, then open to Q&A and coaching, but I can do Q&A as I'm going. So if something comes up and you've got a screaming question, feel free to type it in or put your hand up. So in the 3-part webinar series, it's really interesting because whenever I teach anything, my guides will typically tell me a day or 2 days beforehand what I'm teaching, but they hadn't. So I'm like, and so about the last hour or two, they've been telling me, I'm like, okay, I'm scribbling stuff down. So in this first webinar, what we're going to be talking about is what is intuitive coaching. We're going to talk a bit about why somebody would want to hire an intuitive coach, why you might think of taking this program, and also some of the benefits, not just the program, but also just what happens for you if you choose to take on this life. So it's a very different type of life. I'll just try to make it really short about me, because I could go on and on about myself and my journey. So I stumbled into this world. So really short background. I graduated medical school when I was 25. So I was pretty young. Got really sick when I was 28. Stumbled into the yoga world when I was 29 or 30. Got better a fair amount with yoga. And I'm pretty type A. So when I learned how to teach yoga, ran yoga studios in Victoria for about 10 years, 8 years. And then during that time of those 8 years, I was pregnant, and that was 20 years ago. And when I got pregnant, my intuition went right up. You don't need to be pregnant to wake up your intuition. It just happened. And I was also prepped for it because I was meditating a lot and doing a lot of yoga. The prep work of meditation, working through your thoughts, is the most important part about waking up intuition. Okay. Intuition's natural. It's like it's the most natural thing in the world. When I look at my window, I see trees. And in Vancouver, that's very natural and normal. Intuition's normal. We should all be using it all the time. So I was prepped. So my intuition went crazy. I did some intuition courses because I wanted to do it for myself. Fast forward a couple of years, came back to medicine after the yoga world ended, remembered why I didn't like medicine in Canada, and then started my intuitive business 15 years ago, part-time, and then moved to full-time. Oh, my light just burned out. Then moved to full-time 7 or 8 years ago, or no, sorry, that's not right. Moved to full-time about 10 years ago, 9 or 10 years ago. And I teach and was running an intuitive coaching business for a long time. I've taught intuitive coaching for 7 years with another person, and her and I not had a fight. We didn't. We just moved separate ways. She wanted to go down more of the mystical way of like candle magic and different things, and I want to go down more of the Course in Miracles and way. And so we kind of split ways about a year or two ago. Still really good friends. We just have different interests. So that's a little bit of a background, and I could go on, but I'm not going to. Intuitive coaching is super, super fun. So I want to hear from you guys because interaction is the best way to keep you guys awake. And I know there are some intuitive coaches on the line. Hey, Ryan, it's great to see you. So type into the chat box. Why would you want me to be an intuitive coach? I'm going to wake you guys up even if you're asleep. So why would you want to coach with intuition? You can say it out loud or type into the chat box. I'm curious what you guys say. I'll give you guys a second as you sit with that question. Why would you want to? I'm curious what comes in the chat box. Kat wrote, I feel I already am. Just want to work on my skills. Amazing. Awesome, Kat. Everybody uses their intuition, so I'm sure you already do. You just want to make it stronger. Exactly. Any other reason? And especially if your skills aren't strong enough like Kat's, why else would you want to do it? Why would you want to be an intuitive coach? I'm curious what you guys say. Give you guys another minute and see if you chatted anything else. Feel more confident in my decisions. Yeah, that's, to be honest, Andrea, that's why I took my intuitive trainings. Like I always say to people, I never took my intuitive trainings. Hey, babe, I never took my intuitive trainings to coach. It was not my plan. And so I did it mostly to be confident with my decisions as a mother and to be able to tune into my son because I was such a shitty kid that I decided that I was worried that the universe would give me a crazy kid, and I got lucky. Haley writes, because intuition is the greatest source of truth and wisdom. Such a beautiful answer. Bang on. Bang on. Raya writes, I have worked with my whole life and want to get stronger and clearer and more confident in all areas of my life. I love it. I love it. All these answers are beautiful. So intuition is our connection to source. I see it as a plug-in that we connect. And like all of you so beautifully said, confident with the decisions. Greatest source of truth and wisdom. I love that answer, Haley. I love the answer. It is our inner truth and inner knowing. And kind of like Haley alluded to, we all have it. We all know it. But we have this chatterbox that is different and that runs the show. And so for me, running an intuitive coaching business had been, and I say had because I don't work one-to-one anymore. I still use it when I teach classes. But when I worked one-to-one, I had a very, very, very busy business. I still have the occasional client, don't get me wrong. But when I had a very, very, very busy business, one of the most beautiful things about intuitive coaching was seeing somebody change in front of you. It's the wildest thing to experience. Sometimes that happens in the room or on the computer or on the phone, but you can actually feel it. Now there's something called, I'm going to jump for a second, and it's going to sound like I'm jumping. It is magic. It really is. But we have what's called 4 different clairs or 4 different ways of this pipe connected to spirit. So 4 main ones, and there's other channels, but these are the 4 main channels. One is to feel. So most humans in the world have feeling, like, that gut feeling, the tingles, the goosebumps, that's feeling. Another is knowing, when you're out for a run, you go like, oh, I just know I need to call this person. Another one is seeing, like when we see pictures. Another one is hearing. When you have, and what I teach you to do is wake up all four. Okay, we have all four, but one is your primary one, and you'll learn to open all four. And it's kind of cool to open all four because especially if you see me teach classes, all four are running at all times. Just super cool, super fun. But the coolest thing about what I was just saying a second ago, when you're working with a person on Zoom or in person, and you're working with them, and you say something from spirit, and your clairsentience, which is your feeling body, is open, then you actually feel that person just let go. It is the wildest thing in the world. I've never done cocaine, but it's pretty damn good for those of you guys who do cocaine. It's pretty amazing. Is to go, oh, wow. And in that moment that you got them closer to spirit, because the only reason we go like this is because of fear. The only reason we tighten is because of fear. And there's only two emotions, fear and love. And the only reason your clients will see you is because they're spiraling in fear. Something isn't working. The reason people see intuitive coaches is because something isn't working in their lives. And my entire business is all word of mouth, all word of mouth. I didn't run ads. People just found me, heard about me. How I build my retreat business is the same thing. It's all word of mouth. And so they come because they hear about you and because something in their life isn't working, but they don't know in their frontal lobe how to move it. Or they may know, but their unconscious back here is running the show. And typically people will say to me, oh, I knew that, but it's voicing it with somebody else and hearing spirit that does the magic. So intuition, like a few of you have written in, it's magic. And then you learn how to heal these subconscious patterns. Now, in the intuitive coach training program, you also learn, in the return to self coaching program, you also learn some of the science behind it. What you'll start noticing with your clients, I know a lot of you who are here already work with people, but you have the conscious mind that thinks, and then the unconscious that goes like this. Most people, I would say the majority of humans out there, maybe not people who are into self-development necessarily, but the majority of people don't know what's running back here. And that's one of the most beautiful things about intuitive coaching is that you can go, oh, wow. Like the way mine works is I can actually see the age of a person and go, oh, that's your 4-year-old. That's your 10-year-old. So I essentially fast forward their healing. If somebody, and I think traditional therapy is fantastic too, don't get me wrong. And I've done traditional therapy, just so you guys know. When in traditional therapy, it would take me years to figure out that my 4-year-old is running the show. And that's nothing against the therapist. It's a fast forward way for the client to go, oh, I can see it now. What I need you to know is the type of client who comes in to see an intuitive coach is ready for that. They're ready for it to be faster because spirit never makes mistakes. Spirit always knows this client needs to see Andrea. This client needs to see Babe. Spirit knows. Spirit knows. And they do magnetic attractions going, okay, this perfect person is perfect for Raya. And they're like, oh, here you go. And so spirit knows because not only are you helping that client, but your clients are mirrors to you. So everybody who's got Kimber's story will see Kimber. Does that make sense? And the beautiful thing, I mean, people always used to say to me when I worked, aren't you worried about competition? In the world of spirit, there is no such thing as competition. In the world of spirit, there is infinite abundance and infinite prosperity and infinite wealth and infinite people, right? And the coolest thing is, so Kimber is not anything like Bay. You guys are amazing people, and I know you both, but you're not all alike, which is so cool. So then Kimber's story will bring all of Kimber's clients, and Bay's story will belong to Bay's clients. And the coolest thing, I can tell you this from running a coaching business for 10 years, when you start to heal something deeper in yourself, it's almost like the universe said, not for sale, but I'm going to say it. Go see Dibby because she figured out her shadow around her mother. And I'm not joking when I say this. When I've worked through crap about myself in a deeper way, it's like the doorway fills the people with the same thing I just worked through. I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ. And it's wild, like it's wild. And that's why you get hooked on self-development, partly because you know when you work through a deeper layer in you, you have more zeros in your bank account, which is kind of cool, like in a good way, more zeros to the end of your number in the bank account. And so it becomes addictive because what you're saying to your client is actually what you're saying to yourself. But also, the more you work through your own stuff, the more clients will come in to work through their stuff around their mother, their father, their kids, whatever. And the beautiful thing about intuitive coaching is that the work never ends. Raya, for example, took my intuitive coaching training program a number of years ago. I don't remember how long ago, but a number of years ago. And she wrote in, coming from traditional intuitive coaching is amazing and so more impactful on a whole. And I agree with that, but I'm biased, so I get to say that. So Raya took my coaching program many years ago, but the difference with the Return to Self coaching program, remember, personal development never stops, is my work went more into A Course in Miracles. So there's a number of people who have taken my previous course who are going to take this one because now they're interested in ACIM. And when you apply intuitive coaching, Course in Miracles to intuitive coaching, it's like you pop up another level of self-development and healing. Got it? And so why I'm sharing this with you is because that lid never ends in terms of the journey. My brother was in town visiting from Texas on the weekend. And I come from a family of four siblings, and we're all doctors of some sort. He did his PhD in engineering. There's two PhDs in my family. And it's not because we're smart. It's like we had no choice, just so you guys know. It's not like it wasn't like we have four academics. It was basically to get out of our child of origin home. That was the choice. My dad was very strict. Anyways, whatever. So my brother was visiting and he was talking about how much he doesn't like his job. He was retiring, blah, blah, blah. He's a few years older than I am. And he's also at the same hand, he was talking about, I hate my job. Okay, I'm going to retire. Cool. Then at the same hand, when you retire, you get sick, right? Because my parents are in their late 80s. They're going to die soon. They've lost their will to live. And he was talking about when you retire, you lose your will to live. And I'm like, you're talking out of two sides of your mouth. I didn't say that to him. And the next thing I said, I said, yeah, I'm really blessed that I went the way I did because I don't think I would ever retire. Retirement is not in my vocabulary. And the reason retirement isn't in my vocabulary has nothing to do with money. It has everything to do with this deep desire to constantly learn. And I might as well get paid at it too, right? Because what you'll discover with intuitive coaching is that the amount that spirit loves us is how much we want to be loved, which is Mount Everest times a billion. And the other great thing about intuition is, like Kat said at the beginning, there is no limit as to intuition. I've taught 8 intuition courses. So 6 times I taught intuitive training program with my old business partner. No, I've taught 9 intuition courses. So maybe 10. And the coolest thing is every time I teach it, our intuition goes up. And when people see me work, they're like, holy cow, you're super intuitive. But guys, there is no limit, which is the coolest thing. Cool. Okay, we're gonna do a process. Any comments, questions before I keep going? We're good. The only thing that happens when you start working with your intuition and get stronger is it gets faster, it gets more direct, and it's like you live up here all the time, where you start to just know things more often, easier, faster, and your buffer into what's called contrast is less. So contrast is a word that's from A Course in Miracles, or from the Abraham Hicks work. Contrast is what you don't want. Clarity is what you do. The more you work with your intuition, the less time you spend in contrast, because the clarity comes much faster. Got it? All right, let's take you through a process just for fun. Because I was asking my guides what to teach, and they said, start talking about why they want to become an intuitive coach. Oh, well, I'll answer. I didn't say this. What is an intuitive coach? I should answer that. An intuitive coach is basically somebody who helps and be of service to another person by connecting to the divine support team. How it works is I've got a divine support team. So what's my divine support team? It's my guides, my angels, my ancestors. It's typically said we have 2 or 3 primary guides. Then we have ascended masters, which are guides, or which are, the archangel realm, Archangel Michael, Raphael. They also talk about it in terms of like Buddha, Muhammad, those energies you believe in. So we have our primary guides, 2 to 4 that have been with us lifetime after lifetime. We also have that archangel realm. We also have our ancestors. So the more you work with them, the bigger your team gets. When I started working, I'd have two or three that I worked with primarily. Now my team is pretty massive. Okay. And when I show up at, so what happens is, so let's just imagine my team is this big and I'm working with Kimber. Kimber's team is huge, by the way. Hers is huge because she works with people too. Hers is huge. So my team goes to talk to Kimber's team, and then Kimber's team tells my team, and then my team tells me. That's what intuitive coaching is. It's like this, right? And we all have access to our team. But in order to wake up our intuition, we have to get comfortable with our team. Okay. And that's a huge part of it. And then once you're comfortable with, and that's why meditation or some form of meditation, which doesn't have to be like, it doesn't have to be like that, but some form of meditation is the most important muscle to intuition. Okay. And it can be in any which way. So, like I told you all, mine woke up 20 years ago when I was pregnant. I was practicing a lot of yoga. Okay. And I had just relatively recently, a year and a half prior, started a formal meditation practice. And it doesn't have to be like chanting, it can be practicing yoga, it can be going for runs. You have to be able to quiet your mind even a little bit to hear them, to see them, to sense them. Everyone can do it. But the quieter your mind is, the easier it is. Got it? Which is why the intuition part of Return to Self isn't until the end of October. So that I have 8 weeks to work with you guys to start to slow this darn thing down. And I will say to you, I've taught hundreds and hundreds of people intuition. Everyone can do it. Everyone can do it. It's just a matter of putting ourselves in the container to do it. So no one can't. So if that's a question that any of you are having, what if I can't? You will, trust me. So we talked about why intuitive coaching. We talked a bit about what is an intuitive coach, the benefits. We talked a bit about that. Okay, now we're going to take you into process. Is that cool? All right, cool. And feel free to type in any questions. And I talk fast, so I apologize, guys. I talk fast. I did a podcast the other day, and this woman asked me about my TEDx talk, and we were talking about it. She said, "Did you have to practice?" I'm like, "Yeah, I practiced for 9 months. It drove me crazy because it was how that company worked, right? How TED worked." Cool. She said, "Well, the funniest thing is I've heard you speak a few times. I've done sessions with you. The slowest I've ever heard you talk is in the TEDx talk." And I had a good chuckle about that. So I apologize. I talk fast, especially when I get excited. So if you can grab a piece of pen and paper, and I want you to be honest because we all have crap going on. So I want you to think of one thing in your life that is bothering you and just write it on the top of the paper. We'll do money, relationship, whatever. And I want you to write at the top of the paper. What just like write 1 or 2 sentences of the thing that's bothering you. And then after you write the 1 or 2 sentences, write the primary emotion that you feel. And if you're open to this part of the exercise, if you're on a computer and can do this, maybe type into the chat box if you're open to it, what the 1 or 2 thoughts are and what the emotion is. So let's just say it's around money. There's not enough money in my bank account, emotion, fear. Right? So if you don't mind sharing, it will really help you and it'll really help other people on the call if you're open to doing that. I'm not forcing anyone to, but if you're open to doing it, 1 or 2 thoughts and what the primary emotion is. And then I'm going to take you into the exercise. 1 or 2 thoughts and what the primary emotion is. And this is something that's not working in your life, guys. This is something that's not going well. See what you guys come up with. You can see some of you guys are typing. Okay, thank you. I got some here. Awesome. Thanks, Jane. Or Haley. Haley, right? Haley's first name, perfect. Haley writes, poor self-esteem, body dysmorphia, feeling sad, grief, and hopelessness. Amazing. Thanks, Haley. Awesome. Andrew wrote, my example is basically what you said. Thoughts, I don't have enough money to cover my commitments. Mainly, there is never enough is a primary emotion, which is stress. Awesome. Bay writes, lacking clarity on right direction, influencing everything, primary feeling disconnected. Rye writes, mine was your example. You guys are hilarious. Okay, cool. Awesome. I've got 3 or 4 to work with. And I know all of you guys, and Kimber, Krista wrote in, fear of being alone, fear of not having enough money. Amazing. Amazing. Okay. So let me teach you guys something. Oops. Kat wrote, fear of missed chances at love. Beautiful. Mine was example, my example. Okay, cool. So I want to teach you guys something before I take you into the process. Thoughts create emotions. Y'all know that. And if the emotion is positive, like love and joy and freedom and ecstasy, that means the mind, which is this hand, is thinking the same thought as spirit, which is this hand. So my right hand will be spirit's hand. So if your emotion is positive, then your mind and spirit have the exact same thought content. If the emotion is what humans call more negative, more like fear, anxiety, worry, anger, and so on, then the mind is perceiving something different than spirit. It's that simple. So I'm going to use a couple examples, then I'll take you into process. Bay writes, a lack of clarity on her direction. And here's the deal though, spirit knows. The mind, now here's the thing you also understand. The more you've told the thoughts of the mind, it's not as easy as, okay, here's spirit and I've changed my life. It's understanding that the mind is doing everything to stop you from connecting to spirit. Okay. So in a minute, we're going to take you into meditation. You're going to connect to your divine support team, and each of you will get a chance to sense, feel, or hear your guides. Now, it may not come in the way mine come in, but you will get a sense of something. Now, another thing you'll want to know too before I take you to the divine support team. To spirit, there's only one moment, and that's right now. There's no 5:31 and 32 seconds. There's only 5:31:02. Because this body, and I'm taking this from A Course in Miracles, is the ego's biggest defense structure. The body actually does not exist. The body is the biggest thing that stops us from knowing that there is spirit. The body keeps us disconnected. So those of us who have time, like, okay, when's this going to work out? When I'm going to find my partner? When? Do you see how that's all future thinking? Got it? When am I going to figure it out? That's all future. So training the mind to be in the now is another really great thing about intuitive coaching, because the only way we can work as an intuitive coach is for in the now. It really is that simple. If I'm thinking 5 minutes ahead or 5 minutes behind, I'm a complete useless mumbo jumbo. Okay. So go and close your eyes. Let me take you to meditation. Go and close your eyes. And even if you don't meditate at all or ever, don't worry about it. With your eyes closed, just take slow breaths in and long breaths out. Take a deep breath in and a soft breath out. Breathe. Once your eyes are closed, take yourself into a beautiful place in nature. This may be a place you visit often, or a place from fairy tales. The most important thing about this place is that you feel safe and comfortable. Comfortable and safe. Just breathe. As you look around this place, start to notice everything that makes you feel safe and comfortable. Notice the colors. Smell the aromas. Feel the air as it touches against your skin. In your safe and comfortable place. And just breathe. Hear and feel your breath. Just breathe. Now, out of the corner of your eye, you see someone or something approaching you. There's nothing scary about this experience. These are your guides, your divine support team, the angelic realm. Invite them in. Some of you will see them. Some of you can hear them. Others of you will have a knowing of a presence. And most of you might feel their love. Just let them sit in front of you as you breathe. Just breathe. Now, for the topic that you wrote down that isn't working, they are sending you thoughts, images, feelings, and knowings. I invite you to possibly think about just sitting back. Lean back in your chair if you can. There you go. And see if you can feel, sense, become aware of their message as you breathe. Slow, deep breaths in. Long, slow breaths out. If you begin receiving messages, start to write them down. Our guides are constantly talking to us all the time. See if you will invite in the new messages are coming your way as you breathe. The messages from your guides will give you more of the emotion of love and freedom and ease. Just breathe. If you feel you're not getting anything, I want you to imagine a volume switch, like those old-fashioned turning volume. And imagine turning it up just a little bit. And imagine turning down the voice of your mind a little bit. There you go, there you go, there you go. And just breathe. Take 6 or 7 more slow, deep breaths here. Now, when you're ready, take a moment to thank your guides, your divine support team, your angels, when you're ready, start to bring yourself back into the body, back into this room. Gently open your eyes when you're ready. As you start to come back, I'm curious, did anyone receive a different message that was different than their mind? Did Spirit give them a little bit of a whisper that felt different? And just like put your hand up or type in the chat box. Anyone, and I'll get to you if you didn't. Anyone receive something that felt a little bit better? Kind of not. Kat wrote yes with an exclamation mark. Did everyone receive something a little bit better? Yes, encouragement. Nice, Krista. Yeah. Anyone else? There we go. Not to worry, you are about to ascend. I'm going to clean that up in a second. Kimber wrote, do what you love and the money will follow. And Kat, one of the most beautiful things about what you shared was not to worry about to ascend. I want you to take out the word about to, because that keeps the ego always in future. I just heard them say to me, Kat, you are there now. Take that in right now, because it'll always be outside of you. Raya, and I'm burping. That's because of fear that I'm feeling your cat body, Kat. I just have to move. Keep following and keep trusting. Anyone else want to share what came up for them? Abe wrote, I think I got the word clearing. Couldn't tell what it was about of it. That was my ego. Oh, I'm going to tell you what I was getting on eBay because I was tuning into you. I'll come back to you in 20 seconds. So I see what everyone else got. Anyone else want to share what they got? Andrew wrote, my God was laughing at me that I'm still even questioning the money thing concerning last week. Yeah, your last week was massive, right? Kimber's in one of my other, or Andrew's in one of my other classes, and she had this massive shift around money, like, and that happened last week, and yet the ego still flutters. Wow, I love that. Pain in the left shoulder, new and like a huge knot. I think that's good. That's what you're saying, Raya. Anyone else want to share before I grab? And now I'm going to open. Now I want to teach you guys one or two things before I open to coaching and questions. Spirit always speaks in the now. And the ego always likes to futurize or past it. I'm just going to warn you guys on that one. Okay. If I never see you again, it's really important to know that right now, it is, you are loved. You are perfect. And you're a spirit right now. Because the ego is encompassed in this physical body or future past. But if you can start to even just a little bit train your mind to not see other people's body. Now, the eyes are always going to see a body. My eyes will always see Raya's beautiful hair. Always. But I have to train my mind to just see her spirit. Does that make sense? And the more you do that to other people, the more you're going to do it to yourself. And if you're not in the body, excuse my language, I'm going to swear, you're not going to give a shit about money. You're not going to worry future past. Right now, the divine is here. Right now, I am supported. And it's funny because I gave the money example because they told me to, because that's the future. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Right now, at this second, are my needs provided for? We all know gratitude. Right now, I have a roof. Right now, I have a light. Right now, I have a computer. We take all of that for granted. But the more we go, right now, I am provided. The more at 5:43, I am provided. The more at 5:44, and we forget that. How to make sense? I'm gonna grab Haley's statement, then I'm gonna get Rabbi Bay. Haley wrote, she got is getting the message that I'm carrying denser energy from my lineage. A lot of it that doesn't belong to you. Exactly. But here's the deal, Haley, and I love you, I love you, love you, love you, love you, and don't get mad at me. The fact, yes, you're carrying crap from your lineage, but the fact that you're carrying it means it's in you. And I love you when I say that. Because what the ego does is, oh, well, that's my grandmother's fault, that. And it's also in us. And yes, it's from your lineage, no question at all. But the question is, do you want to give it up? And that's what we're going to be studying a lot in Return to Self-Coaching, because it's like, we don't even know what's in there because it's just followed us like a ghost for so long. So let me know, Haley, if that landed. And I'm going to go to you, Bay, who I love so much too. I think I got the word clearing. Couldn't tell what it was about. it was very much related to what you said earlier, that the topic was more about, I'm going to read your sentence. Let me pull this up, and I might get you to unmute yourself if you can in a second. Yes, bang on, Haley. Bang on, bang on, bang on. Just have to scroll up, to what you said. Think of the, no, what did you say before that you were going to work on? What's that here? You said, lacking clarity on the right direction, influencing everything. Primary feelings disconnected. Get to jump in a bit, Bay? You get to jump in? Just mute yourself if you can. Are you open, Bay, that you have a shadow that I see from you? It's funny because a lot like Haley's, that's from your lineage that says figure it out. Can you see that?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like this. And that figure it out is trying to find a box. Can you see that?
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense to your brain? Because you
Mm-hmm.
something like, I think I got the word clearing. That is what wants to clear. But I want you to see, just like Haley, there's an addiction to it. Does that make sense here?
Mm.
There you go. You just got,
Okay.
oh, sorry.
Yeah, okay. So I have an addiction to clearing things up. Like I feel like that's been coming up so much lately
Yeah.
when I'm trying to go into some things and I can't seem to figure out what else to clear up.
That's the thing. Excuse my language. I might swear. There's nothing fucking to clear, sister.
Mm.
You just got that. Do you guys feel that? This is the best thing about intuitive coaching. Like I just like, oh, she just softened. And that's her fascia right here. Just let go. It can become an addiction when you start working with clients in the self-development world. What do I need to fix? What did you fucking be love right now? That's all you are, sister. Right to your core. I've met you. You are love. You whole love it. I'm sorry for getting mad, but Kali's coming through me like on tomorrow. Stop it. Stop it. You are love. All right there. Did you see how she just softened? That's not my fault. I'm sorry. That's my personality going, I'm sorry, sorry, sorry. Because when Kali comes through, she just gives people shit. How does that feel, babe? Not the getting put on shit, but like,
No, it feels good. I could feel as we're going through it, like a little bit of like wanting to cry at one point. And I'm just like, oh, I'm so tired of feeling like I haven't cleared something. Like, what is this lack of clarity? And um, yeah, it's just been like an obsession for like most of this year of figuring out how else do I clear myself from whatever's keeping me from a theme last year, hiding, and still this year hiding. So yeah, it was great. Thank you.
can anyone relate? We know people like you, babe, or have been like that. Can we all relate to that? Oh, 100%. Been there, done it, wrote the book, babe, which is how I can see it so clearly. Okay. Because the unconscious says, when I get everything clear, then I'm ready, then I'm done, then I can start living. But the more we're clearing, guys, clearing is what? Love or fear? Fear. It means that something is going wrong when this is really all there is. What's happening for you, that just showed me, is this unconscious part of you. It comes from your grandmother. Think of your mom's lineage, I think. Sorry, I should pull back in here. Oh yeah, here it is. It's the fear of how big this love is, which causes us to do this. Does that make sense to your brain?
Mhm.
Just like that quote by Marianne Williamson, our greatest fear, not the run of greatest fear that we're powerful beyond measure. You know that quote? That,
Whoa.
oh, that quote, sorry, yeah. That, I just think everybody knows that. That quote by Marianne Williamson, our greatest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our
Mm.
light that frightens us, not our dark. Where am I to be frightened by my light? And that's a lot longer. So I just kind of mumble it. But if you want to Google it, if you've never heard it before, it's by Marianne Williamson, and it's our greatest fear quote. And I know you've heard that quote
Mhm.
before.
Mhm.
And that fear, and that's why you're doing this. They just said
Mhm.
to me, remember that quote from A Course in Miracles? Be your mantra for after this day is be still and know that I am God.
Mhm.
That's your mantra after this.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And when you go, you just felt that, didn't you? I just felt it in your heart. And when you're
Mhm.
there, there's nothing to clear because there's nothing wrong. Does that resonate?
Mhm. Thank you.
And I'll say one more thing for everybody. You know how it says somewhere in the Bible, the meek shall inherit the world? You know how it says that somewhere in the Bible, which I haven't read. What they're referring to is the more like, for lack of a word, simple, like, not complicated, figuring crap out. Self development is not complicated, it's love. It's peace. It's joy. It's not complicated. I'm going to read Krista's comment. Then Haley, they want me to go back to you in a second, which I will. Krista wrote, I was being told I'm never alone. Oh, I love that. But they sense that I have a fear towards them. So I felt them approaching me slowly because they almost didn't want to scare me. So I can trust them. I love that. And that's quite normal, Krista, for us to be afraid of our divine support team, especially if we're not used to working with them. But our divine support team, the more we work with them, the more they're loved. And depending on the family of origin we come from, religion and so on, depending on that, we can have unconscious fears. Does that make sense, Krista? So we have to, when people take the intuition part of the return to self, that part's in Whistler in October. The intuition part, the first thing we have to do is release all those fears, like give it up, give it up, give it up, give it up, give it up. And Chris, I hope this also helps you in the thousands and thousands and thousands of sessions I've done on people, not including retreats, thousands and thousands of sessions. There's only one time, Krista, that I've ever been afraid of that energy. I hope that helps you. But see, one of the reasons that never really happened to me in the fear that you're describing is because I grew up in a religion and a culture where there was nothing to fear of that side. So, and as soon as that thing came in that I was scared of, I just said, Archangel Michael, come in, and he took it out, and there was nothing to be scared of. So I hope that helps, Krista, that that fear can be moved so that we can let them in. I'm gonna go back.
Yes, thank you.
Help, Krista? Amazing.
Yeah.
Because you're so psychic. They keep saying to me to say to you, you're so psychic. And it's that, and it's just a cultural religious thing that when we let go, I'm gonna go back to what Kaylee said. Getting the message that I'm carrying dense energy from my lineage. Yeah. We talked about it. Yes, maybe there's a part of me. Yes. Haley, that's exactly it. Just like you saw with Bay, there's a part of us and it's sort of the mind body. So how I always tell people is, we saw it a bit with Krista. Let's just say in your mind, I'm making this up. As a child, you were told, I'll use my iPod container, you have to be afraid of ghosts. I'm making this up. Then that thought then goes into the body and creates a chemical response in the body. Okay, that we call all kinds of hormones from cortisol to dopamine and so on. And then we talk about mind-body connection to heal. The mind-body actually can make us sick too, because if the body's going cortisol, cortisol, the mind will keep thinking the same thought. We all know that. So if I'm angry, right, about something, then that's, if let's just make this up. And I know there's men who are going to listen to the recording and on the call. Let's just say I have a constant anger to men. I'm making this up. And that's going to go into my body. And then that's going to create a rigidity or wall around me. So men are going to stay away. Kind of simple, right? But that's a mind-body connection. Kind of makes sense. So why I brought that up with you is the body also holds on to a reason why not to let go. Does that make sense, Haley? The body's like, nope, it's not safe. Nope, it's not safe. Nope, it's not safe. Because if you truly knew who you were, so you have a female guide who just walked in behind you, Haley. And she said, if you could see her the way she sees you, you would never have this mumbo jumbo. She called it mumbo jumbo. Does that help? And the more you can perceive yourself through her, and I'm going to give you one piece of homework, Haley, because I think you talked a bit about body image stuff. I think I'm going to scroll up here. Just double check what you wrote. The more you can see yourself through, like, yeah, you wrote self-image stuff. This is a really great piece of homework, which is challenging, but to not look with these two humans' eyes, but to start to see people as sparks of light and not in their bodies, then you won't see yourself that way. And what they're telling me also for you specifically, for you, Haley, it's the ego's biggest trick on you to keep you away from people, but also keeps you away from yourself. Does that make sense to your brain up here? Okay, cool. And the ego's greatest trick, it's funny, but the more you just see it as that, as just a trick, that's like, oh, that's all it is. What if anyone's clairsentient was paying attention to Haley, something just lifted off her chest. So now she's got more space for herself and the thought system gets stronger. And if she keeps following this and keeps doing the work, then this fear keeps leaving and then she becomes a transformed human. Does that make sense? And that's why she'll look back at herself in 6 or 7 months and go, oh, I can't believe it. And Haley, I can tell you personally, I have had pretty severe body image issues. Like I still sometimes say to my husband, do you think I'm overweight? And he looks at me like, oh, Jesus Christ. Like it's still there sometimes. Do you know what I mean? But all of the work I've done to heal it has been around this work. Does that make sense? So I spent years of anorexia, just like most women, right? And so all of the work I've done to heal it has been seeing myself the way my divine sees me. Does Does that make sense? And then really quickly in a few months, you're like, oh, wow, I can't even remember I had that. Does that help a bit? Nice. Comments, questions. What's coming up for you guys? How are you guys feeling? What's coming up for you guys? So that process that I just took you through is called the mind versus spirit. Okay. Everybody, but what you probably saw is the more the mind is running, not necessarily the harder is your spirit, but that's why I really appreciate those of you who raised your hands for extra coaching. Spirit always comes in stronger. So what I always say to people is the reason the program is 6 months long is because we have to work through our stuff. And the more we work through our stuff, the better channel we are for spirit. That makes sense up here to your brain. Okay, cool. Rye wrote, I guess we really want to hold on to all the stuff because we fear letting go and meeting ourselves in a whole magical way. Yeah, bang on. We want to hold on to our stuff because it creates a definition that keeps the past alive. And like you saw with Bay, and again, Bay Divi's personality apologizes. Goddess Kali came in and gave her shit. Right? Because sometimes people don't listen unless they're told, come on. And I don't let her in unless she like literally comes in because Bay could handle that. Does that make sense? Typically, when I would work one-to-one, she doesn't come up that much in my world as much one-to-one as she does occasionally. If the client's going like this, but sometimes the client, let me say it that way. The client she will only come in when the client is ready. But Raya, oh, I love you, Raya. You promise? You okay? It's time to give up the addiction of playing small. It's not that you don't dream, Raya, but now it's time to truly know that right now it's all here and it's all given. Does that make any sense to your brain? I don't know why that came in. Makes sense up here. To your brain a little bit. Okay, cool. She said it. Count thumbs up. How are you guys doing? Questions, comments, anything that's coming up for you guys? All right. Krista just wrote, it sounds like we need to view others as their higher self, which in turn helps us. Yes, exactly. One of the things that it talks about in Course in Miracles, you guys will hear me teach all this stuff in Return to Self, just so you guys know. How many of us are in a relationship? Oh, no, don't even ask that question. We're all in relationships. I was about to say how many of us are in a relationship. They said, don't ask that because everyone's in a relationship. I'm in a relationship right now with Kimber, with Andrew. I'm in a relationship with each of you. Okay. There's something called, and I'll teach this in Return to Self, and it's way too, and I'll try to teach this in 3 minutes. I'll do my best. There's 2 types of relationships. There's a holy relationship and there's a special relationship. Special relationship is looking through the ego's eyes as to what can I get from you? How can I see my ego protecting myself from you? When you enter every relationship with holy, and I'll teach you guys how to do that, then you start to see everybody as your gift. Everybody who's coming into your life is a gift to heal something in you and vice versa. But when you're looking at it more through specialness of, I want you to tell me I'm special. Will you tell me I'm special because you hired me? Will you tell me I'm special because I'm pretty? Then special relationships keep spirit away from you and you see yourself as the body. Got it? Big part of Course in Miracles is about teaching you how to move into holy relationships. I have right now, I can have a special relationship with Kimber because Kimber's an amazing massage person. If I really want to get her good books and she's really busy, I'd be, treating her really special. And, can you like me, Kimber? So if I need you, you'll just have me see you in a second. You have people can do that. That's not serving me or her. But how you start working into holy relationship is spirit, make this holy. Spirit, make this holy. Let me see Kimber through holiness and let Kimber see me through holiness. And right there, you start to change it. And Krista, if you start doing that, asking Holy Spirit to have everybody seen through holiness, then you don't have to see them in their humanness. You start to see them in their higher self. But use Holy Spirit. Don't try to just do it with your eyes. Say, Spirit, I want to see this differently. And that's actually in A Course in Miracles. In Return to Self, there'll be a fair amount of A Course in Miracles teaching. But A Course in Miracles says, above all, I want to see this differently. So, for example, Haley, above all, I want to see my body differently. Above all, I want to see my bank account differently. Does that make sense, you guys? All right, I'll read this next comment. Rai wrote, is it me holding on to the old stuff, old beliefs, and stopping me from exploding into the scene? It's like even the word I love you, even the word exploding is future tense. See how I'm picking on you guys today? Right now, I am the divine essence of source, and everything is here right now. This class specifically, there's an addiction to future. So this is why I'm picking on you guys a lot. Okay. Because actually, what I was going to do this exercise just with money, and they said, no, let them choose because some of them have other things. I'm like, okay, fine. But they said specifically when I was doing the exercise before I prepped the class, they said, this group is going to have an addiction to when's it all going to work out? When? I was like, okay, got it. Remind them right now, Raya, right now. Do I have money for a water bottle? Oh, I do. Is there clean water near? Oh my God, there is. And we take it all for granted. And if you, Raya, and everybody on the call who has the same issue can be in the reference of that energy, what's possible? Does that make sense up here? Where there is no 6:01 and 32 seconds. It's just right now. How does that feel, Raya? Other comments or questions? And the reason I want to do it more as a process in this one, and in the other webinars, I will talk more about the actual course, but they wanted me to teach a process today, so I just listened to them, and hopefully that helped you guys. Any comments or questions as we wrap? How are you guys doing? Anything coming up? Okay. Awesome. Let's do a closing meditation. That'll give you guys a minute to type anything in that's coming up. Go and close your eyes. Take a few breaths in and out. Don't forget, we're going to be together next Monday at 5 o'clock as well. Learning something different and something more fun. Take a few breaths. Bring your divine support team. Know that they're always here. Your homework this week, if you're open to it, is anything that comes in fearful that you can see the ego is gripped to. Can I ask spirit for a different way to think? That's your, well, there you go. A lot of you guys took that in. Every time I have a fearful thought, can I bring spirit in? There you go. Take a few breaths. And each of you, just so you guys know, for each and every one of you, one of your guides stood forward and said, yes. I saw that for all of your guys. When you're ready, gently open your eyes, coming back. Literally, guys, I'm not joking. I was tuning into all of you. I saw one of your primary guides walk forward and say, yes, we will give them a new thought this week. If they have a thought of fear, we will send a new thought. So just be prepared. But see, they can send thoughts, but we have to go, okay, what's a different way to think? And the more we're down the rabbit hole of, oh my God, I weigh too much, the harder we are to hear. But the more we're like, okay, let me think something differently, the easier we can hear. That makes sense? That's your homework this week. Sounds cool. I will send out the recording. I'm sending you guys so much love. Thank you so much for showing up live. And again, my apologies if she came through really strongly. So sending you guys so much love. I will see you guys next week. Big love, guys. Have fun. Take care, guys.
Thanks, baby.
Take care, Jose. See you soon.